I'm Tim James, and this is the Motley Drive briefing that was presented to the public on November 30th, 2015. The purpose of the public briefing is to provide background information on the Motley Drive project, as well as to present options that will be presented to the council on December 7th for consideration. The first step in the public briefing, we were covering the typical way that projects are developed in Mesquite. The first step is we identify the need for any specific roadway project. We look at the pavement condition, future traffic growth concerns, or safety concerns. This helps us to identify the need for the project. Once we've identified the need, we develop the scope, which is typically what we're going to build in the future. What helps us to define the scope are the policy and guidelines council has set forth or planning documents that have been adopted. We look at the project layout, the pavement requirements, and any utility or drainage requirements that are needed for the project as well. The Motley Drive project was developed using the same criteria as we use for all of our projects. The need for this specific project was based on the pavement condition and safety concerns through this corridor. The pavement conditions are such that it needs to be rehabilitated or replaced in the upcoming future, and we've had numerous complaints through the years with speeding through this particular section of roadway. The scope was defined using our policy guidelines and planning documents that have been previously adopted by council. We have a master thoroughfare plan that was adopted in 2002, a master trails plan that was adopted in 2008. The specific layout that has been presented to council was approved in 2008, and council adopted a complete streets goal in 2011. The layout for this project was going to be contained within the existing right-of-way, and the pavement requirements and utility and drainage requirements were all clearly identified for this project. The history of the Motley Drive project started in 2008 when the project was initiated. The design was completed to 95% in 2011, but was placed on hold due to the economic downturn in 2011. It was restarted when funding was identified in 2013. The design was completed in February of 2015. A public meeting was conducted in March of 2015. Based on the input at the public meeting in March, additional traffic studies were conducted in April of 2015, and council was briefed on the updates from the traffic studies in June of 2015. Concerns that were raised at the public meeting in March of 2015 were 5 major points. We had a total of 76 residents who signed in at the meeting, and the top 5 in order that were received were reduction from the 4 lanes to the 2 lanes, the inclusion of bicycle lanes with the project, no on-street parking, concerns with access to alleys, driveways, and side streets, as well as concerns regarding residents from the apartments coming into the neighborhood. The traffic study that was completed in April of 2015 consisted of traffic counts on Motley, the evaluation of the Motley and Larchmont intersection, including turning movements, queue length, pedestrian traffic, and crossing guard impacts, as well as the school traffic pattern. We looked at U-turn movements, the traffic from the daycare. This was conducted over a 2-week period on 3 separate days so that we could get a good cross-section and study of the traffic that was occurring throughout the week and not just on one particular day. The results of the traffic study indicated that 5,000 vehicles per day travel through this corridor. This represents 2,500 vehicles going in each direction. When we design a roadway, we design 1 lane of traffic to carry 6,000 vehicles per day. So a 2-lane design, the capacity would be 12,000 vehicles per day. The projected traffic from the apartments that were recently constructed on Gus Thomason only amounted to 500 vehicles per day, and no on-street parking was observed during the peak times that the study was completed. For the Motley and Larchmont intersection, the congestion was limited to a period of 15 minutes in the morning and the afternoon, and the maximum queue length for both northbound and southbound was 16 cars. The crossing guards worked well with the traffic, and we did not have any additional recommendations for changes to the school traffic pattern. There were also no traffic impacts observed during peak times from the daycare or from cars making U-turns on Motley. The options that will be presented to council on December the 7th include 5 different options. In all of the options, what will be included a 6-foot sidewalk on each side of the road, utility improvements, as well as drainage improvements. In option 1, it is the current design, which consists of a 2-lane design with a landscape median. minor modifications to the turn lanes at Larchmont to extend the turn lanes based on the results of the traffic study. This design would be an additional cost of $30,000 to modify the design. It would extend the time for the design by 3 months, and it would be an 18-month time frame for construction. Option 2 would be to modify the Option 1 design. It would be a 2-lane roadway with a landscape median. We would remove the bike lanes and add on-street parking through the residential section. This cost would be an additional $200,000 for design, estimated 8-month extension for this design modification, and the construction time is estimated to be 18 months. Option 3 is a 3-lane design that would consist of 2 travel lanes with a decorative center turn lane and on-street parking. The benefits of Option 3 would be improved access for the residents with the continuous center turn lane. It would provide on-street parking. The parkway width in front of each of the residential properties would be increased. The driveway lengths would be increased, and it allows space for multiple transportation options. The drawbacks for Option 3 would be the cost, the additional design cost, and the additional construction cost, the reconstruction time delay. There would not be a landscape median, and this section would most likely result in higher speeds through the corridor. Option 4 would be a 4-lane design, which would be the same configuration as the existing roadway. The benefit of this option would be that it is the same configuration as the roadway. However, the drawback would be the additional cost, including the design cost estimated at around $500,000 and additional construction cost estimated to be upwards of $1 million. It does not provide for protected on-street parking. There's an 18-month time delay for the design, and this option also increases the speed through the corridor. The final option would be a pavement overlay. This would consist of spot repairs where the road needed to be leveled up before an overlay is performed. The roadway would be milled and a new asphalt section would be put on top. The benefits of this option would be the cost. This is the least expensive alternative at around $250,000. It would be the same roadway configuration. There would not be a time delay for design or construction. However, the drawbacks of this option, this still allows for unprotected on-street parking. It would still require recurring maintenance costs, and it would also introduce higher speeds through the corridor. An overview of the 5 options. Option 1 is a 2-lane design with a landscape median. Option 2, a modification of Option 1, which removes the bike lanes and provides on-street parking. Option 3 is a 3-lane design with decorative center turn lane. Option 4, same configuration as the existing roadway. And Option 5, which is an overlay of the existing roadway. All of these options, as well as this presentation, will be presented to the Council for direction on December the 7th.